We have our how to read a pattern at home. So Cookie's in the background, the big bad 7 to 8 pound guard dog, Maltipoo. But anyways, if you hear her barking, that's her. She's just protecting the house. So this is my quick kind of overview of reading a pattern. And this one's a new look. So we have our brand right there. The pattern number is always going to be usually up here in the top, and it's sometimes a 4-digit number. It may have a letter in front of it that is part of the pattern number. Whatever the letter and the number is together combined is part of it as well. We can see that this one is an easy pattern. So this is one that I found real quick online. It has an A option, a B, and a C. So there's technically three different looks you can get here with the same kind of shape and stuff of the pattern. So that's the front. We have English, it comes in France, and it also comes in a Spanish version. On the back of the pattern, this is going to be the envelope. Of course, the shoes do not come with it, or the sunglasses, or the purse. Sometimes it does have a purse and accessories. We're going to flip it sideways and look at how to read this. So if we are looking at the left-hand side, we see the pattern number again right here, just to make sure that we're on the right pattern and that it matches the front. And it shows us right here that there are 12 pieces in this envelope. And so that's really important because there's only 3 different design types, but there's actually 12 pieces to get, let me erase all that, to get the pattern depending on the look that we want. So we're going to look at the size right here, and this one actually has, it says 5 sizes in one. So they have a small, medium, large, extra large, and a 2XL. If you go by number, sometimes they don't have the small, medium, large, but this one also it does. But we also look here at the 10 to 12, 14 to 16, 18 to 20, 22 to 24, 26 to 28. So this one envelope, you could pick a size 10 all the way up to a size 28, depending on who you're making it for. Most of the time, the material you get if you go to Walmart is going to be in like a 45-inch bolt. That's where the lady takes it. You pick your material out, and then she'll cut however many yards or however much material that you want for your pattern. So if we're going to look at dress B, so we know dress B is a longer dress. My pen is not calibrated very well, but dress B, if we have a 45-inch material or bolt, and we need a size, let's say 14. It's always better to go up because you can take it up versus getting too small of a size because it's hard to let it out. There's nothing to let out. You don't have enough material there. So we're going to say a size 14. So we would need like a medium. If we looked at our bust, that is our chest. It should be around a 36 to 38. Our waistline should be a 28 to 30-ish. And then the hips should be a 38 to 40. Again, if we had size, say 42 hips, I would want to go ahead and go with the large if that were the case. But we're not. We're going to go with the medium for this company. And we're going to buy the 45-inch material. And you see those little asterisks down here to the bottom left hand. That's going to be something special. It's going to tell you about that material. So we're going to do a 45-inch bolt, and we would look at the medium and look at our sizes that we need. So we know we need this right here, and we would have narrow it down to 3.5 yards. Again, not calibrated, it's not picking up very well. So we need about 3.5 yards of material of whatever color that we wanted. And if we look down here, this tells us what kind of material that we would need that works best with this pattern. So right here we see cotton blends, like a silk, linen, suede, the rayons, linen blends. Make sure, and it says not suitable for obvious diagonal, so like allow extra fabric if you're matching plaids or stripes, because that's when you get this side, the straps might go this direction, and then the other side it might not match because they're not lining up correctly, because you have to have a little bit more material. So but we're just going to have let's say floral, for example. It says for pile, shaded, or one-way design fabric, use with nap yardage and the layout. So your nap is just kind of which direction. If you run your hand across it, sometimes material will look a different kind of color type thing. That's kind of what the nap is. So depending on what you get, we're just going to get a floral, cotton, plain, like a summer dress type thing. But if that's our case, then I need about 3.5 yards. And then that's for the long dress, of course. And then interfacing, so it can be woven or non-woven, and we'll need about 3/4 of a yard at 36 inches, and that's going to be the interfacing. It might be for a collar on the inside or something that you need a little bit of more stability with. And you're not always going to have interfacing, or maybe for pockets or something that you just need a little bit of a backing to it, that it stays behind the material, or sometimes you can iron it to it so it makes more of a almost a thicker lining with the material. And so for the finished back length, so base and neck. So if we look at dress B, we're going to go across here and look at our measurements. So from the base of the neck, finished back, so this is from the back length, from the base of the neck. So we're going to be at 57 inches for dress B, and then we need a size 14, so 57.5. And of course, we can always adjust it if we want to hem it a little bit more and not make it as long, depending on our height or whoever we're making it for. And it's in inches and yards, because this is U.S. customary, just standard U.S. measurements. Everybody else, most of the world does not use our measurements. Most of the world uses the metric. And so all this stuff over here on this side is all metric stuff, and that is for the majority of everybody in the world, except for America, pretty much. So down here we see the requirements. So for dress A, B, or the tunic for C, it says that we also need 2 5/8 of an inch button. For the pants, if we were going to make the pants with it, or just one of the pants as an extra pair of pants for something else, we would need 1/4 of a yard of the 3/4 of an inch wide elastic for the pants. So there's no zippers, nothing like that. It's just pants. You can see kind of the elastic and stuff up here. But it kind of tells you the pants side length. So if I'm going to make these in my medium that I need, I would have right about 40 inches. And so if I need to take my pattern, cut it out, and maybe I need a tall, then if it's 40 inches, then I also know the pants side length that I need to add on maybe a little bit more to that pattern if I'm a tall person, or if I know that I'm going to wear heels with it. And then the pants leg width is about 15. So that's going to be, just the width, obviously, of your pants and stuff. So if I look here, I'm going to make dress B, and I'm a size 14. It's going to be about 65 inches wide. So I can tell by this pattern what I need as far as the material, how kind of just the overlay and the height, what it's going to look like. And then, of course, I would pick out my material and pattern that I would want with it. So all this other stuff over here, actually, we don't use this here in America. This is all just metric stuff, and not really for us, but these are sold around the world. So if you lost a piece of this, pattern, you could either order a new one or find somebody that maybe hasn't used it or used part of it, and then you could use the part that you would need. So when we look at this, we have a seam right here in the middle. And then if we zoom in, we can see that it kind of, splits right here on the side. And so we would have a seam, and it's kind of flowy, which is probably one on the other side too. But also it's the same design as our tunic, except our tunic is, the split goes up around the waistline or so. And then this one doesn't. There's also a cap sleeve right here, which you could add that to your tunic if you wanted to, because that's going to match that same basic, shape of the dress or the tunic anyway. And then you can always add any embroidery, design, whatever else, rhinestones if you wanted to. The one thing you want to be really careful about is when you look here, depending on your fabric, if you have 45 inch or 60 inch, depending on the type of fabric you have, how many yards you would need. So this is in yards, and of course it's different depending on the bolt that you have. And so if it's a 45 inch or a 60 inch bolt, and then you have these little asterisks of like 2 and 3 down here. So you would want to make sure that you would look at with or without nap to make sure that you get the right thing. But that is pretty much reading the pattern. And you could always like take the pockets off if you wanted to, or you could put the pockets even like on here, and then put that cap sleeve, on that tunic part here. And there's those buttons, and I guess they're on each one. But really, I mean, you can make it your own. This one doesn't have, this green dress here doesn't have anything that you would have to get extra for, because it's kind of just a floral, pattern to it. and there's no straps to match anything. So the front of the dress is going to be one solid piece. You would probably actually take the front here, and there would be a line that says cut on fold, and you would cut it. You would fold your material here, and you would cut, because it's going to open up and be the left and the right hand side once you cut it. But the back of it actually had a seam, so there would be two separate pieces for the back.